All right. Good morning, site members, and welcome back to our second day of our Site Improvement Association Investment and Infrastructure Expo gone virtual. So today we have some great presentations. We're ready to get back in the saddle, and we have a full lineup. Today we have a little bit of a road theme. So you'll see the presentations will be from our county highway and road managers and directors in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, St. Charles County, and Jefferson County. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. And first of all, we'd like to thank our presenting sponsor, Favorite Cat. Thank you very much. You'll see a nice video message coming up from them. Also, a huge thank you goes out to our other expo sponsors. We couldn't do it without you all. Advanced Drainage Systems, ASP Enterprises, Bus and Quarries, Central Power Systems Services, CMW Equipment, Energy Petroleum and Marketing, Fixed Supply Service, KJ Understall, NB West Contracting, Pace Construction Company, Pat Kelly Equipment Company, Purple Wave Auction, Roland Machinery Company, Rush Truck Centers of Missouri, Thomas Industrial Coatings, Traymar Contracting, 2 Alpha Contracting, and United Rentals. So thank you again for everyone who sponsors this expo. Again, we couldn't do it without you. So let's talk about the format today. So we've got 4 presentations today. First up is the presentation from Matt Barnes from St. Louis City, and then we'll have St. Louis County on with Stephanie Leon Streeter. We've got Joe Kalesa and Matt Grunler also presenting with St. Louis County. We will break right around 10:15, and we'll come right back with St. Charles County, Amanda Brower, and Jefferson County, Jason Jonas. So with that, if you guys have any questions at all, there's a box that you can comment on the bottom of the screen. You can email Leah at sitestl.org, and you can ask your questions there, and we'll put them up at the end of the presentation if we have time. Also, there's a QR code on the screen. If you'd like to see our past presentations for this week, feel free to snap a picture of the QR code and visit our website. So with that, we'll go ahead and start off with our presenting sponsor, Favorite Cat, and a nice video message from them.
In these challenging, uncertain, uncharted times, you stand strong. No matter the conditions you face, you get the job done. You are the backbone of our communities. You are the hardworking men and women that continue to build. We're honored to call you our customers and our employees. We thank you for the work you've done and the work you continue to do. Together, we'll get through this.
All right. At this point in time, I'd like to welcome into the live stream Matt Barnes with the City of St. Louis. Welcome, Matt.
Hi, good morning.
So some exciting things happening down in St. Louis City. We've got the new soccer stadium being built. We have NGA West, and we also have Downtown West. So there's a lot of projects kind of coming about here with road work in St. Louis City. So Matt, we'll go ahead and get started right away and just let everyone know this is Matt's first time presenting a site's membership. Typically, I think it's John Kohler who does these presentations, but Matt was kind enough to fill in for John. So Matt, with that, you got it, bud.
All right. As he said, I'm Matt Barnes, a construction project manager with the City of St. Louis Board of Public Service. On behalf of President of the Board, Rich Bradley, and the City of St. Louis, I'd like to thank you for the time today to present on some of our upcoming projects. As a side note, before we begin, John Kohler put together this presentation, but he wasn't able to make it today. So I've done some plan review on some of these projects. But if there are any in-depth design or planning questions, I'll need to get back to you after I have a chance to talk to John. We have 13 major capital improvement projects in the planning stages right now. 10 of these projects are going to be managed by BPS construction staff. 3 will be managed out at the airport. So as you can see there's 7 roadway projects and 3 bridge projects, and then 3 at the airport. The funding sources for these projects come from a wide variety of sources. Some of the main ones are listed here. A large chunk for most of them is the federal grant funding of STP, CMAQ, and TAP, with the local matches coming from MSD, half cent, ward capital funding. Sometimes we have GRG partnerships, etc. The first project we're highlighting today is the Louisiana Culm Street improvements project. This is focuses on the stretch of Louisiana in between Gravois and Merrimack. It is a north-south corridor, kind of in the southeastern part of the city. It's going to be focusing on retrofitting in a bunch of traffic calming measures such as speed humps, traffic circles, bump outs, stuff like that. And it's going to feature the business districts on Merrimack, Chippewa, and Cherokee, and as well as the Gravois and Marquette parks that it goes by there. And that one we expect to go to bid in the next several weeks. I don't have an exact date on that, but soon. Next up on that we're featuring today is the I-64 at Jefferson City Streets project. This project corresponds with the MoDOT work on I-64 as well as the MLS Stadium project. It features on the city streets portion. You can see on the map there several of the different streets that we will be doing improvements, streetscape amenities, bump outs, lighting, multi-use path, signal improvements, transit, metro bus stops and stuff like that. The next project is the 7th Street improvements, Washington Avenue to Walnut. This is a fairly standard streetscape project improving a north-south corridor in downtown. It will improve access to the convention center main entrance, and it includes bump outs and sidewalks and ADA, signal improvements, landscaping, all the kind of standard streetscape project parts. Next up, we have Jefferson Improvements, Market to Natural Bridge. This is a project that will kind of build on what was done in the previous Jefferson project, expanding the improvements north up to the new NGA campus and facility up there. The sections that are shown on the map there are related to the different federal funding sources, but it is all going to be planned and built. It's all being bid. It will be bid and built, and it's all being planned together. And it'll all be bid and built at the same time. The next roadway project we have is the Goodfellow Signal Interconnect, Delmar to Halls Ferry Circle. This will improve the signal and fiber network as well as ADA access along a main corridor in the northwest part of the city. Next up, we have the 20th Street multimodal improvements, Market to St. Louis Avenue. This will improve the pedestrian, bike, and transit links along this corridor. It will also provide an additional link in between the improvements made in Jefferson, I-64 downtown west as part of the other project, up to the neighborhoods around the NGA. Next up, we have the Tower Grove connector. Tower Grove Ave, Magnolia to Vandeventer, and then Vandeventer, Tower Grove to Sarah. This project includes a 2-way protected cycle track, and it'll improve the bike pedestrian link in between Tower Grove Park and the surrounding neighborhoods around Tower Grove Park, with the Forest Park Southeast neighborhood, which is commonly known as the Grove, and then the Central West End and SLU campus. We actually started a little bit of the work at Magnolia as part of a project we had about a year ago, doing intersection improvements around the Tower Grove Park. So we already actually installed a bike signal and stuff for that layout. But then it'll include, it'll finish off going north there. The first bridge project we have coming up is the Hamilton Bridge reconstruction. This is an area just north of Forest Park. It's the bridge that is going to be fully replaced above Metrolink tracks, which will require all the coordination with Metro when you're working on their right of way. The next bridge project we have is the Southwest and Columbia Bridge reconstruction. The Columbia Bridge, if you're familiar with the area, kind of on the eastern edge of the hill, the Columbia Bridge is currently closed. This project is going to involve tearing down both bridges and replacing it with one new bridge that will have a higher clearance for the railroad. This work will need to be coordinated with the railroad as well during construction, which I believe is Union Pacific. I think is the same rail line that we dealt with on the Kings Highway Bridge project a few years ago. The last bridge project on the BPS side is the Compton Bridge reconstruction, Shoto to Spruce. This is a very, very long bridge that we're going to shorten using MSE walls. It goes over the rail yards and the Metrolink tracks in the area kind of near the Grand Metrolink station, if you're familiar with that area. And it will require coordination with the various rail lines and stakeholders underneath there. The first airport project we are featuring today is the Lambert International Airport Boulevard Bridge over Coldwater Creek, which is near Terminal 1 in the cell phone lot. It's a landside project, and it's a bridge refurbishment or repair with a bridge deck replacement and superstructure repairs. And the next two projects that we're featuring out at Lambert are airfield side projects that require all the extra safety and whatnot to work on the airfield. They're both related to the reconstruction of runway 12R 30L. So the first project you can see here, the area of work is highlighted. That'll be included on this project. And then the second project on runway 12R 30L involves this area that's shown in the highlighted section of the image here. And that is all we have. Thank you for your time this morning. If you have any questions, let me know.
All right. Thank you, Matt. I'm looking over at the questions. I think you might have escaped without having any questions to answer. So good for you, Matt. Nice presentation. A lot of work going on in St. Louis City. We hope that that at least the downtown area comes back to life, after COVID. I'm sure it's been pretty odd down there without, thousands of people's going to Cardinals games or Blues games. So the nice part is you don't have all the traffic in there to get the road projects done. So let's hope that we can get that completed and get everyone back together.
Yeah, I know the street department did a bunch of paving this summer without all the other events going on. So
awesome. Okay, great. Well, Matt, thank you very much for your presentation. And if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask Matt, you didn't have time to today, feel free to just email Leah at site.stl.org, and we will get those questions answered and back to you. So thank you, Matt, again. And we'll be welcoming in St. Louis County here in just a second.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Moving on to St. Louis County, all kinds of fun and exciting work. So right now, I'd like to welcome into the live stream. We have Stephanie Leon Streeter. She's the acting director at St. Louis County. Joe Colessa, who's the acting deputy director, and Matt Grundler, who's the construction division manager. So welcome all into the live stream. Stephanie is no stranger. She did one of these presentations at our site expo that was in person last year. So, but this is new for everyone on the live stream. So thank you for joining in. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. So I will just start off right away, introducing myself with a little more detail so you know what my background is. Again, I'm Stephanie Leon Streeter. I graduated from UMR in 1993 when it was UMR with a Bachelor's of Science and Engineering, and then in 1999 at the University of Kansas with a Master's of Science and Engineering. So I began my career actually at MoDOT up in St. Joe to start, and then in Kansas City across multiple divisions and materials, operations, planning, and also cross-trained in design. And 20 years ago, I came to St. Louis County when at that time it was the Department of Highways and Traffic before it merged with the Department of Public Works. Now we are a merged department. I started as the division manager of planning. I was promoted to the deputy director in 2007 and then appointed acting director last year. And besides transportation, we are also involved in facilities management and code enforcement, property maintenance, and fleet and garage services. So we actually do a number of things. So when we look at 2020, obviously due to COVID, but also due to funding, 2020 was a lighter year for us than in 2019 or 2018. And so I want to take this opportunity, even though it was a lighter year, working with you all in the contracting community, we were able to achieve some good work. We all had to navigate a very difficult path with COVID, and we're still trying to come out of that. But you guys being able to zig and zag when needed, and us working with you in that same way, we were able to achieve some good things. So I appreciate all that you do. So in 2020, we were able to complete $20.9 million of road and bridge work. But as I indicated, and as you saw on the graph, that's $11 million under our 10-year average. It's 39 total projects worked. It was a below average year, but it could have been worse. And thankfully, we weathered 2020. But as I said, besides COVID, some of the things that we're up against is just funding for transportation in general. And so, in case you didn't know, St. Louis County has, over the course of time, invested a lot of time, sweat, tears, and money to build up the transportation system that we have. We have over 3,100 lane miles of road. We have 1,300 miles of sidewalk. We have over 600 signals, nearly 200 bridges. So we have a lot of infrastructure in the field. We value that at $1.78 billion. So it's worth investing. And we're at a point in our process where we're having to do more preservation work. Our operating budget is about $55 million on the transportation side of our house. We would love to have an appropriation level for capital projects at $71 million. And if we did, we'd have $126 million that we bring to the table. And that's just to maintain the status quo. But when you look at the revenue that we have now in the recent past and going forward, we're going to be flat. So we have transportation sales tax, we have gas tax, property tax, franchise fees, and fees from permits and interest on money held that are generally flat. Maybe some are slow to increase, some are slow to decrease, but generally we're flat. Problem with flat funding is nothing else stays flat. So the cost of construction, the cost of doing business goes up. So actually over time, we lose ground. We've also lost ground on the federal project side, not because we don't try and have not been successful in getting federal money, because we've been actually very successful over the course of time. But in order to leverage funding from any source, you need to be able to provide matching funding. And that's where we start to fall off. So over the last 10 years, we've averaged about $194 million we've brought in. So that averages about $19.4 million a year that we get in federal funding. Excuse me. But as you can see in 2021, we've had to take a deep nosedive away from that figure. So all of those funding sources combined yields about $74.2 million of revenue, which is great. That's nothing to sneeze at. But it, as compared to our needs, is short. And so what we end up doing is the needs don't go away, but instead of appropriating the $71 million that we need to appropriate, our highest year in 2018 was nearly $42 million. But that was the highest year. So we don't appropriate what we need to. Obviously, when you appropriate dollars, that eventually leads to construction activity in the field. And so ergo, when you can't appropriate what you need, you don't do as much as you need to in the field. So what's in store for 2021 for St. Louis County? We do expect to bid about $36 to $47 million of work, which is good. If we hit the high side on $47 million, it'll be about $24 million that goes to our arterial road system projects. About $4 million then for our collectors, $12 million for subdivisions, and $7.2 million for bridges, both on the CRS and ARS side. So we have about then a little bit less than $1 million for signal and miscellaneous work. So when we look at what we're actually intending to do on the ARS projects side, just keep in mind that our ARS work is usually pavement and sidewalk repair, signal upgrades or replacement, ADA improvements such as at our curb ramps, some asphalt resurfacing, and some ITS project installation. So this is one of two slides. It's 12 projects in total. The first three, I want you to take note of. The bid opening is expected spring or summer of 2021. So those are the first out of the gate on the ARS project side. They do not have federal funds, which means they're county funded and they will have MWBE requirements. So that's ARS improvements area A, infrastructure improvements on Midland, and Barrett Parkway area improvements. But you'll see going forward that as the year progresses, there's some federally funded work, DBE requirements apply in those cases, and it's heavy on the resurfacing side because, as I said, we're more of an aged infrastructure and we have to focus on resurfacing primarily. And then on the second slide, you've got Berry and Big Bend intersection, Bayless resurfacing, Dealman infrastructure improvements, Ballas Road resurfacing, and Baxter resurfacing. So definitely pay attention to those prospective bid opening dates.
And please note on all of the ARS projects with federal funding, those dates are very much in question right now due to COVID closing the courts. We have a number of property acquisitions that need to be completed before those projects can be let. And we just had another update yesterday that the courts, we still don't have any information on when the courts are going to open to move those projects forward. So those dates, unfortunately, are probably going to slide back on a number of those projects.
Thanks, Joe. On the collector side, that is pavement and curb repair, it's mill and overlay, it's a curb ramp repair and construction to meet ADA requirements. We have two jobs. They are not federally funded. So again, MWBE goals apply. Those bid openings are expected spring of this year. Area B is South County, so that's Suisun Hills Drive, Pottle Avenue, and Keller Road. And then Area C is somewhat south and somewhat west. We have Hannah Road west, and then Valcourt Avenue and Edian Park. And then our bridge and culvert projects, again, span the ARS and CRS system. We're talking about bridge deck replacement and or repair, substructure replacement, ADA improvements, etc. And this is, I believe, 7 projects. And it's a mix. Some are federally funded, some are county funded. The 2 that are anticipated to have a bid opening earlier in the year versus later are the first 2. So MWBE goals apply. It's Lockwood Avenue Culvert and Lackland Road culvert. The other bridge projects fall later in the year and in some cases early 2022, such as Windcrest Drive Bridge. Our subdivision work, we'd love to be able to do some wholesale replacement, again, because some of our subdivisions have been in place for many, many years. But this is more spot concrete replacement, as much as we're able to do, and as the requirement presents itself. We also have joint and base repair, sidewalk repairs, some asphalt overlay, more curb ramp work. And so we have 3 areas, C, B, and D. Actually, C had a bid opening already in January, and B and D have bid openings coming very, very quickly. One's March 3rd, and one's March 17th. They're not federally funded, so MWB equals apply. I have the list of subdivisions, but for each one, there's a number of them. So if you want that particular information, ask the question or ask us, post this expo, and we can certainly provide you that information, provided that we're not in any period of solicitation.
Yeah, those are currently in solicitation. So those would be under a cone of silence. So please go and review the packages online and email questions to the authorized contacts.
Okay, thank you, Joe. They came to mind, so that's why I'm glad I said it. Our miscellaneous projects include a pedestrian signal at Music Avenue, bid opening March of 2021, and then guardrail on Baumgartner Road to come later this year. No federal funds, so the MWB equals apply. If you want to see our 3-month forecast on upcoming projects, you can go to Google and type in St. Louis County Department of Transportation and Public Works and go midway down on our page and click contract opportunities. If you happen to type it in wrong or you're not getting to the St. Louis County's website, we do have a new website address in case you haven't gotten on there in a while. It's stlouiscountymo.gov, so that's STLOUIS countymo.gov. And when you click on departments, you'll find ours, and the contracting opportunities button would be halfway down. So I don't know if there's any questions. I will say both the cone of silence information is on the county website, as is the MWBE ordinance information. If anyone's interested in learning more about the MWBE ordinance, if you're not familiar with the requirements for MBE firms, which is 24%, and women business enterprises, which is 9.5% for construction contracts, you can certainly get that information. It's I'll give you a few clicks because it's a little bit buried, but if you go to the county website that I gave you and click on government, then the county council, then ordinances, go to Title I, and in Chapter 107.071, you will be able to find the MWBE ordinance. It's in the purchasing code. And if you don't understand or new to St. Louis County and you're not sure what the cone of silence is that I just mentioned and that we talked about, your projects that are in solicitation, we cannot speak to you about, and you cannot ask questions about except through specific channels and to specific people. You can go on the county website for that as well. Click on administration and click on the button request for bids and proposals, and you will have access to the ordinance and you can read what the cone of silence is all about. And again, those are modifications to the purchasing code in Chapter 107. So with that, I am done unless there's other questions.
And I'd like to announce to everybody that we do have an MWBE forum scheduled for next Monday. The public announcement should be going out very soon. So please check the county website and watch out for that if you're interested.
Okay, and there was one question, Stephanie. Were there any projects that the county put on hold due to COVID that have not let yet? Is there any still kind of lingering out there, or has everything been awarded?
I don't believe so. Matt, do you want to?
Well, there are
go
a
ahead,
number
Joe.
of projects that are COVID delays. If you notice the subdivision work, those projects are titled 2020. Those projects were scheduled to be released last year, but due to COVID, those were delayed. We had numerous scheduled delays, but everything that's on the work plan for this year was presented in the slides.
Okay, great. And with that, I don't see any other questions. So you guys also get somewhat of a free pass. No crazy questions that I see coming up. So
Great.
again, we're a little bit ahead of schedule, but thank you all very much for attending, and thank you for your presentation. Look forward to having you again next year. And again, if if you have any questions for St. Louis County that maybe you just didn't feel comfortable with asking on this presentation, feel free to email those at leah@sitestl.org. Again, thank you, Stephanie, Matt, and Joe. Take care, and we will take a quick break, and we'll be back in just about 6-7 minutes. Thank you.
Thank
In these challenging, uncertain, uncharted times, you stand strong. No matter the conditions you face, you get the job done. You are the backbone of our communities. You are the hardworking men and women that continue to build. We're honored to call you our customers and our employees. We thank you for the work you've done and the work you continue to do. Together, we'll get through this.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Sites Investment Infrastructure Expo. I'm Jeremy Bennett, Sites Executive Director, and right now we are moving forward and keeping on schedule. So let's bring into the live stream Amanda Brower from St. Charles County. She's the manager of roads and traffic. Welcome, Amanda. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Amanda she's been presenting at Sites Expo since 2017, so she understands the process. And with the expansion of St. Charles County keeps going west, those roads are having to be basically, completely redone all in western St. Charles County in the Wentzville area. So I can imagine your job's been keeping you pretty busy.
Yes, busy as usual.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get right to it.
All right, sounds good. Again, thank you for having me. This is, like Jeremy said, my fifth time presenting at this conference, and I wish we were in person and not virtual, but we'll get through this hopefully next year. So I am the manager of roads and traffic for St. Charles County. That means that I oversee the road board and all of the projects that it funds. So the county's half-cent sales tax was instituted in 1985, and since then it has funded $1.4 billion worth of transportation improvements in the county, paying about half of that amount of, so putting in $700 million for all of those improvements. We typically try to leverage our funds. So with changes in available funding over the last 10 years, the county funding percentage has varied from 35% to 72%, with a 10-year average of about 47%. So we like to be right around that 50% mark. The proposed 2020 TIP provided just under $13 million in county funds for $26.6 million in improvements throughout the county, so 49%. I will say this was kind of a lower year in terms of what we distributed this year. However, the previous year was very big with the I-70 design build. The county contributed $10 million to that, and several other big projects. So we kind of used the this year to kind of catch up, but we have not seen a lull in funds, and we're still steadily seeing about $30 million a year in sales tax revenue for the transportation projects. So the 2021 to 23 Transportation Improvement Plan includes over 60 projects and approximately $80 million in sales tax funds for construction projects throughout the county. And just remember, when I say 80 million in half-cent sales tax funds, that means that the overall projects are probably around the $160 million mark or more. So this is just a list of the overall projects in the TIP and what the county's contribution is. I'm not going to sit on this for too long, but if you want to go back and look at the presentation, you can certainly do that and let us know if you have any questions on any of these. Our first project that I'm going to discuss is Route A, GM improvements. So this is obviously a MoDOT route. The county submitted for governor's cost share on this project and was awarded I think it was $4 million in cost share funds to do this project. The estimated construction is around $4.5 million, and the anticipated bid date is spring of 21. This includes new parking shoulders, right turn lanes, new shoulders and additional 10-foot shoulders, lighting, pavement treatment, traffic signals, guardrail, and fiber throughout the corridor. So this is a pretty significant project, and we're excited to get these improvements done for the GM plant and all that they're doing out there. From Darden Prairie, they will have the Hanley Road reconstruction and improvements from Fisey to Pleasant Meadow Drive. This project is replacing 2 existing 10.5-foot wide travel lanes with new 11-foot wide travel lanes, enclosed storm sewers, sidewalks with an estimated construction cost of $1.5 million and a bid date of spring of 21. Lake St. Louis roundabout at Veterans Memorial Parkway. This is the construction of a 6-legged roundabout at the intersection of Lake St. Louis and Veterans Memorial. The estimated construction cost is $2.35 million. The right-of-way acquisition is underway, and I believe they anticipate a MoDOT letting in March. So I believe that's still on schedule for that date. Other city projects include the Brookstone Stormwater, install curb inlet and 50 feet of pipe for $25,000, and then asphalt overlay for $600, and $50,000 and concrete slab replacement for $650,000. I will say I heard back from Lake St. Louis, and they provided this information. The other cities likely have similar projects that I don't have information on. So always, look at the city's website or reach out to the cities individually to see what they have going on in terms of maintenance projects. City of St. Charles has Little Hills Expressway and Melwood Parkway roundabout. This will accommodate a future ramp to 370 and improve the intersection level of service at this intersection. It includes pavement for roundabout approaches, MSE walls, and a 2,300 linear feet of 12-inch water main. The estimate is $2 million, and the anticipated bid date is summer of 2021. The Zumbell Road Bridge culvert replacement between Regency Parkway and Deerbergs. This is a new reinforced concrete box culvert. The construction is expected to begin in the fall when federal funds are available. This has an estimated cost of $2.5 million. Fall. Mugi Road interchange. So this is one that MoDOT is actually handling everything on this project, but I just wanted to give it a quick mention. They may have talked about it yesterday, but the county has funded this project through various sources. This is a $15.6 million project. I think that might be the total cost. So not just construction, but this has also been expanded. MoDOT has added an overlay for all of 94, which will be part of this bid. And my office went after $2.4 million or $1.2 million in federal with a $1.2 million match to add an additional lane in the segments where it wouldn't be 3 lanes. So this will, and on the MoDOT website, it has everything, but this will widen the entirety of 94 to 3 lanes in each direction between 364 and I-70. So this is a huge project. It should be bid in the fall. and we're very excited about this. Boshertown Road Phase 2, widen roadway for 3 lanes and shoulders and relocate Boshertown at Highway B. Again, this will be bid in the fall when federal funds are available and is estimated at $3.25 million. Systemic safety improvements in the city of St. Charles. This is various items throughout the city at various locations. Again, this will begin in fall when federal funds are available, and the project estimate is $700,000. City of St. Peters has a Greenway Phase 4 project, Centennial Greenway. So the project limits are Maclay Village Drive to Harvester or to Hackman Road, 1 mile. Project includes removal of sidewalk and replacement with 10-foot wide multi-use path. Estimated construction cost is $1.4 million, and the bid date is summer of 21. Wentzville Parkway is moving forward with, Wentzville is moving forward with Wentzville Parkway South, Phase 1 and 2. This project will relocate the intersection of Wentzville Parkway and the eastbound off-ramp and on-ramp to a roundabout. There's a picture on the next page. The cost estimate for the roundabout portion is, I don't see the total here, is about $8 million, I think. And this should be bid in fall of 21. Phase 2 will extend the Parkway South to Interstate Drive, and that overall cost estimate is $10 million. Okay, so the total for Phase 1 is 4.9. Sorry, I was confused about what that was. And Phase 2 will be bid in 22. Here's a picture of what those look like. So Phase 2 will involve railroad coordination, and again, that will be another year. County Highway, I just wanted to note they had some maintenance bids out right now. This is the webpage for those. If you'd like to look them up, they are due in just a few days. So they're also working on Route N at Route Z, signal intersection improvements. The bid date is late 21, and estimated construction cost is $2.4 million. This will realign the intersection, make a signal, so much safer and efficient out there. Gudermouth Road Phase 2, east of New Interchange to Motherhead Road. This will replace the existing 10.5-foot lanes with 2 new 12-foot lanes and a 2-way left turn lane, as well as an 8-foot trail. The bid date is late 21, and the cost is $3.6 million. David Holkel Parkway Phase 1B, from Old South Point Prairie to Wentzville Park south to Route N. Estimated bid date is late 21, and the cost is $1.5 million. Gateway Greenlight, we have another phase that should be coming out this spring. Countywide travel time detectors, count stations, pan tilt zoom cameras, video detection, and 12 miles of new fiber. Again, should be spring. I can't remember the cost estimate on that, and didn't put it on here. So I also wanted to note, like Jeremy said, we have things going on throughout the county. Route N is a huge study right now, and we're hoping to move forward with projects on Route N. David Holkel Parkway continues to move forward, and sections are being built. If you go to our website here, listed the road construction projects, there's a list of everything that's active in design phase, whatever phase it's in. We try to keep those descriptions accurate so that it tells you when to anticipate bids for those. We'll try to even do better about that. We're also trying to update our GIS mapping to include that same information. So I can definitely forward that along to site as it gets updated. But always go to that website and definitely let me know if you have any questions or anything you want more information about. I'm happy to help. And I think that's all I have.
Okay, great. So, I got a question on, and MoDOT touched upon it just a little bit, but the sharp curve in Wentzville, that's been kind of updated on a priority list. Any idea of where that's moving? I know a lot of our members live out in that area, or they travel through there to go to the lake, or traveling through. So, any update on that you can give us?
Yeah, it's a MoDOT project, so we don't have much say, but I do know that it's on the draft STIP. It was on the draft STIP last year that never was never moved forward because of COVID. So we're really hopeful. MoDOT has indicated that they're really hopeful that it will be on the MoDOT's 5-year STIP. We don't know what year, but we all have our fingers crossed to see that big project coming. Additionally, we provided $1 million to MoDOT to go ahead and study the interchange at 64 and 70 so that we can hopefully have some projects there either at the same time frame or close behind to kind of help the bottleneck, because we know once you fix the railroad bottleneck, we're going to still have a little bit of an issue back there too. So that's all hopefully coming here in the next 5 years, and fingers crossed.
Right, exactly. I mean, I know that travel times going out that way, even Thursday evenings and Fridays and the weekends, it's just long, it's crazy, and hopefully that'll get resolved with some more much needed funds. And speaking on that, we'll have Chris Davis, Site's Government Affairs Director. He'll be coming in after Jason Jonas to talk about what we are doing and helping try to increase the funding for MoDOT for some of those cost sharing programs that the county directors really rely on to get some of these projects funded.
Yes, we love cost share. We love STP. So like I said, we try to invest the 50% and get it from other sources otherwise. So we're definitely willing to share.
All right. Thank you again, Amanda. And we look forward to having you again next year. And thank you for your time. And with that, Amanda will go out and we'll bring Jason right in. Jason, welcome to the live stream.
Hey, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Jason, just like Amanda, I think you have been here since day one of the expo. Always had a very good presentation. So Jason Jonas is the Director of Public Works for Jefferson County, and we welcome Jason into the live stream. And Jason, we'll go ahead without further ado. We'll get kicked off with your presentation.
Okay, great. All right, so I am Jason Jonas, Director of Public Works for Jefferson County. I've been in this position since 2012, and basically I'm going to run through all the bid opportunities we have for the contractors in the next 15 to 18 months in Jefferson County. So the county relies on a half-cent sales tax that is dedicated to infrastructure improvements in the county. It has, like St. Charles County, been in effect since the mid-'80s. Ours is 86. So the last 35 years, we've been relying on that for improvements in the unincorporated and incorporated areas of the county. We share that based on a formula, and last year that brought in about $13.1 million. It did grow last year, which was great, since we were open and a lot of people weren't. But in 2021, we anticipated to grow slightly again. We use this to match it for all 100% local projects as well as federal participation projects. And each year we bring in about 15 to 20 million in projects improvements based on this tax. So Jefferson County has a lot of bid opportunities this year. We have a whole lot of bridge projects and road projects and pavement preservation and reconstruction projects as well. I'm going to go through some of the larger ones here in a few minutes, but largely Jefferson County has about 20 million in projects to bid out this year. As in addition, our cities have about another 5. And most of the cities just have contracted street repairs. Both asphalt and concrete, not delineated between them, but reaching out to the cities, that's largely what they have going on this year with not many federal participating projects. So if you need any further details about those bid opportunities, you can reach out to the cities themselves. City of Arnold has Judy Wagner, which many of us are very familiar with, and she's got kind of the lion's share of improvements among the cities in Jefferson County. So all total, Jefferson County has about $26 million worth of contracted bidded opportunities that we foresee in the next 12, 15 months. So the first one we got going on is Ole May Ferry Road. This is a project we had tended to bid out last fall, but got pushed back because of condemnation issues. No real issues with COVID itself, but condemnation kind of held us back a little bit. So it's the same 2/3 of a mile reconstruction, realignment, two intersections. All three are county roads, Spring Forest and East Rock Creek tie into Ole May Ferry, and all be realigned. Ole May Ferry will go from 2 11-foot lanes to 2 12-foot lanes with center left turn lane in both directions, and also 3 to 6 foot shoulders with 3-foot curb and gutter throughout. Also, there's a major box culvert that gets reconstructed, replaced, and it's about a 12-foot wide single cell box culvert. So this project's estimated at roughly $4.3 million, and we anticipate it to be bid out in late spring. So probably the May, June, hopefully May, probably June. Seckman Road, this one was also intended to be bid out late last summer, early last fall. Again, it also faced condemnation issues that have been since resolved. We have authority to advertise. This one should be on the streets in the next week. So look for that real soon. This is the same project talked about last year, is Seckman K-12 campus, which is a major arm of the Fox C6 school district, is through this corridor, as well as many subdivisions and strip malls and gas stations and whatnot. We'll be overlaying the road, but mainly the improvements is the roundabout at Ole May Ferry, Seckman, in Lions Den intersection, as well as 6-foot sidewalks throughout the 1/3 of a mile corridor. And also we'll be doing 2 traffic signals at the entrances to the K-12 campus. So this is estimated at roughly $2.15 million. Next one is Miller Road improvements. This is improvements to Miller Road at the Spring Forest intersection. It is the other terminus that Spring Forest ends into Miller, and the other one is on Ole May Ferry. I talked about 2 slides ago. It's a Y intersection that we want to tee into it to get proper sight distance. There's quite a few improvements along Miller at that intersection vertically that need to be adjusted for sight distance as well as there's a sharp curve approaching Country Court subdivision to the north end of that project that needs to be realigned, that curve. Widening as well with 1-foot shoulders and 12-foot lanes as opposed to the 11-foot lanes now. This project is estimated at a combined roughly $1 million. And this one should be bid out as well in May or June. House Springs Main Street. This project is going to reconstruct the 2 12-foot lanes, and roughly there's 2 6-foot shoulders there. Those shoulders will be improved. Parking will be improved. So we'll be adding on-street parking, reconstructing the pavement, a minor amount of street lighting. I think there's 7 or 8 street lights, closed drainage system, and minor improvements to the intersection with MoDOT's Route MM. This one is slated to also be bid out in late spring, probably the May-June timeline, and it's estimated at $570,000. Rugli Keep, we got a couple of bridges to bid out this year. Rugli Keepy Bridge is in with MoDOT right now for final PS&E approval and obligations. So we're looking for that to be bid out here again in the next month or 2. Standard single span bridge, eye girders on this one, minor amount of reconstruction and realignment of the shoulders, $555,000 for that bridge. Sandy Valley Road Bridge, this one is set to be bid out this week, so look for that real soon. Again, single span structure on this one with eye girders, even smaller amount of relocated, reconstructed roadway to get this one in there as a replacement. and $455,000 for this one. Boyce Lane Culvert. So right now we have a major low water crossing. It's officially to the locals called the Slab, and has been kind of a landmark structure for a generation or so, several decades, of course. Anyway, that structure is starting to break up. It's starting to crack and fail. So we're replacing it with a low water bridge, approximately 6 foot higher than the low water crossing now. Still floods under a storm greater than a 10-year event, but the current one floods every time it sprinkles. So a major improvement to the area for access, and this structure is slated to be constructed later in the summer. So it's a locally funded bridge project only at $500,000. Sulphur Springs Road. This is a partnership with Simpson Quarry, Simpson Materials. We're looking to realign Sulphur Springs Road as it connects with US 6167 to get it out of the 100-year floodplain as it's been affected by Glaze Creek in the past. This way the quarry won't flood, and all the residents that live in a small historic community along the riverfront won't as well. They'll have flood-proof access to 6167. This one is slated to be bid out and constructed starting in the fall, and we estimated it at $600,000. Lonedale Tomahawk Road is a realignment of Lonedale as requirement of the New Henley Woods Phase 2 development in the city of Arnold. This one is realign it just so they can get site distance and proper entrance requirements for the new subdivision. They'll be adding 2-foot paved shoulders, 2 12-foot lanes as opposed to the 11-foot lanes, no shoulders now, and various other features as well. This one's estimated about $450,000. East Rock Creek Road. This is a realignment of 800 feet or so of East Rock Creek to realign the curve, high frequency crash curve that we have along East Rock Creek. Add shoulders, normal other features as well. A lot of guardrail on that one, estimated at $405,000. And we have a bunch of paving projects, asphalt and concrete. Our asphalt work, we've got about $1.3 million to repave and reconstruct the shoulders on Old 21 from State Route M to State Route A here in Hillsboro. So Barnhart to Hillsboro. We also have a major chip seal project this year, about $1.2 million in chip seal efforts this year. We also have contracted overlays of about $750,000 of a few different routes. We also have contracted U-balls for about $500,000 with a few different routes. And we also have some contracted microsurfacing and crack sealing in various routes for about $250,000. And then we also have some concrete paving work in our subdivisions for about $500,000 in a concrete PCC panel replacement project. And that one should be bid out here this week. A few of the others in the asphalt should be bid out in the next week or two as well. We got a couple of real small projects. In one of our subdivisions we maintain, Northern Lights Drive, has a culvert that has failed, approximately 60-inch diameter by 100-foot long CMP that we're going to replace with RCP, and we look to bid that one out probably in May, and that's about $85,000. We have some drainage repairs along local Hillsboro, mostly just residential pond needs to be turned into a drainage detention basin. So mostly a grading project, small one. $75,000 is what we estimate. Romaine Creek Road, we got slide repair. As you can see to the picture to the right, it's been in a slide condition for the last 6-8 months, and we're looking to bid that one out here in the next few weeks, and that's estimated about $100,000. Some upcoming ones that won't be this year, but in the next 15, 18 months, we'll have High Ridge Boulevard improvements we looked to bid out in 2022. It's a shared use path, 8-foot sidewalk, 3-foot buffer, new curb and gutter drainage system and lighting improvements, estimated about $1.85 million. We have a bridge combo project that we have, we'll have that bid out next year in 2022. Armbrister, Doss Hollow, harness 3 rural bridges that have been packaged by MoDOT into one project, estimated at about $1.6 million. We got Hillsborough Hot Springs Bridge that we estimate to bid in 2022 for approximately $900,000. We have another another major road project along Sackman Road at Mastodon State Park, estimated to bid out next year as well. That's adding the end turn lane into the state park, as well as shoulders and widening to 12-foot lanes for Sackman Road itself, as well as an 8-foot shoulder to the south and a 3-foot curb and gutter to the bluff side north. And that's estimated at $1.1 million. And that's what I have. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me or our technical division manager that runs all of our project efforts, Chris Elan.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it very much. There are no questions that we're seeing on our end, so you get to escape today with no questions.
Awesome.
So what I'd like to do now is, well, first, thank you, Jason, and thank you for your presentation. I'd like to invite Chris Davis, our Government Affairs Director. He's going to talk about some of the site legislative initiatives for increased motor fuel tax funding. And so at this point in time, I'm going to invite Chris in, and I'm going to slide out.
Thank you, Jeremy. Good morning, site. Appreciate your participation here today in your expo, and very thankful to all of our sponsors and presenters today and all week long. Site has been extremely busy this legislative session, and the months leading up to this session last fall, we've been working very hard on a motor fuel tax increase in Missouri. Missouri ranks 48th nationally in funding per mile in our transportation infrastructure system. And we have tried in the past to increase the motor fuel tax with very little success with the voters. So House Transportation Committee Chair, Representative Becky Ruth from Festus, sought out this summer to see what other states are doing in terms of funding their infrastructure and their motor fuel tax. And she came across South Carolina law that was adopted in that state back in 2017. And that has become the foundation for what we are pursuing here in Missouri. South Carolina doesn't necessarily have the constitutional restraints that Missouri has. However, they do have an extremely conservative General Assembly, very similar to Missouri, who is very risk averse to what might be perceived as a tax increase. Motor fuel tax is not a tax, it is a user fee. You pay for increased use of the roads when you fill up your tank. So we spent a large part of the fall working with Representative Ruth and Senate President Pro Tem Schatz on pursuing legal questions in Missouri on the ability to raise the motor fuel tax while providing a refund to motorists and citizens who might want to request the funds back that they have paid at the pump throughout the year. That is the foundation for what South Carolina passed. They raised their motor fuel tax, but gave citizens the ability to apply for a refund at the end of the year based on the increased taxes that they paid throughout the year. So what we have is House Bill 1044 in the House, sponsored by Representative Ruth, that would raise the motor fuel tax 2 cents per year over 5 years for a 10-cent motor fuel tax increase when fully implemented. It will also allow citizens of Missouri and households to apply for a refund at the end of the year of that incremental 2 cent increase every year. They can apply for a refund. If they want to collect the receipts throughout the year from the pump, fill out the paperwork at the end of the year, and get their $12 back or $10, or an extremely heavy driver might get $15 back. If they want to go through that trouble, they can apply for that refund for up to 2 vehicles per household. What we're really focused on right now, though, is Senate President Schatz's legislation in the Senate ups the ante. So Senate President Pro Tem Schatz wanted us to be extremely aggressive in the motor fuel tax increase, and he has introduced a 2.5-cent motor fuel tax increase phased in over 6 years for a total 15-cent increase when fully implemented. His legislation does go a little further, though, on the refund component. It allows not just households and citizens of the state. His legislation allows anybody and everybody that may have paid that tax throughout the year to apply for that refund. That would include trucking firms, motor fleets, businesses, and corporations. So that is why his is a little more aggressive on a little higher tax level, an extra year of implementation. But that refund expires at the end of the 6-year full implementation. So you can get the incremental increase every year, but at the end of the 6 years, the refund sunsets and you can no longer get a refund. Therefore, the entire 15-cent motor fuel tax increase is fully implemented and the state will get all of that money. So there won't be the leakage of motor fuel taxes. We're extremely focused on the Senate right now. I actually am leaving SITE's offices as soon as this meeting is over. I have a 1:00 meeting with Senate President Pro Tem Schatz, and then we have a full stakeholders meeting at 4:00 this afternoon with Lieutenant Governor Kehoe, who has been extremely helpful in leading this charge. So we have a full court press on the Senate right now. We expect the Senate Bill 262 to be voted on by the end of next week, hopefully in the next 10 days or so. And we're extremely optimistic about a roll call in the Senate, where that we will then focus on the House. We have a little bit bigger hurdle in the House. While we have a very strong leader in House Transportation Chair Becky Ruth, we don't have the buy-in from leadership and House Speaker Rob Vescovo. So that's what we're working on, what we're hoping for, and SITE will continue to keep you updated. Check your email later this week. We will be asking you to call your senator and urging them to support Senate Bill 262. So thank you for all your efforts. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your participation in your association. With that, I'll bring Jeremy back in to wrap things up. Have a good day.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Great report. And again, SITE will be there representing our members there at the Capitol today. And Chris, like he alluded to, he's getting ready to leave and head on up. So with that, what I would like to do to close this out is, we have our first in-person membership event, networking event coming up in May 12th. That'll be at Top Golf from 4:30 to 6:30. We are excited. This is our 55th anniversary this year. For over a year, we have not been able to bring people together to network, and we know we miss that. Everyone misses that. So we're excited to bring everyone back on the 12th. That's $21 per person on May the 12th for our Top Golf networking event. All right. So with that, I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Favorite Cat, and all of our other expo sponsors, Advanced Drainage Systems, ASP Enterprises, Bus and Quarries, Central Power Systems and Services, CMW Equipment, Energy Petroleum and Marketing, Fixed Supply Service, KJ Undersaw Construction, MBUS Contracting, Pace Construction Company, Pat Kelly Equipment Company, Purple Wave Auction, Roland Machinery Company, Rush Truck Centers of Missouri, Thomas Industrial Coatings, Traymar Contracting, 2 Alpha Contracting, and United Rentals. Also coming up tomorrow, we're excited to bring in Rich Umberford from MSD. That's always a great presentation. I think Rich has been there doing the presentation since we started in 2017 as well. Looking forward to that at 9:30, excuse me. And then also after Rich, we have the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Michael Fellman, talk about some of the core projects coming up. So again, if you have missed this presentation, maybe you know someone that would like to hear it, come visit our website. We have the presentations downloaded there for you to see and share with other people within your office. With that, I'd like to wrap up this session today. Thank you again for your attendance, and we look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow, starting with MSD at 9:30. Thank you for attending today's 2021 Investment Infrastructure Expo. Have a good day.